Welcome to Miss Polari's speech and language class. And today's unit, we're reviewing the importance of applying for a job, right? And we went over vocabulary last lesson. And just a quick review. Why is it important to get a job? And learn the skills and the vocabulary, and learn those conversational skills, even to go through the job interview process. And let's see. So let's review some of these. So why is it important to get a job? Number one, it increases your social skills, right? Your conversational skills, because you work with others and you interact with clients or customers, correct? Number two, it teaches you responsibility. You are assigned certain duties and you have to fulfill those. It teaches you to improve your time management, your organization, right? All those things, those executive functions are great abilities that will increase when you get a job. Another thing, it helps you to respect authority. Very important. It helps you to interact with different types of personalities, right? Because not everybody's the same and not everybody speaks to people the same way or reacts to people the same way. So you learn how to adjust and how to talk to people and how to either be quiet or when to speak up, right? You learn all those interesting interactions. Another thing is you become a good steward, or in my case, I think it should become a great steward of your finances, which means you learn how to manage money. That is so important. When you get a job, you can help out your family, especially during these difficult times as we're seeing with COVID. And when you get a job, you can save money for college and or save money for a car. I mean, there's so many endless reasons why it's important to get a job. So we're going to go through some this unit. And so question number one, let's see here. So the benefits of getting a job, we just discussed that. Okay, there is one thing that you need to do before you apply for a job or during the process of applying for a job. There is something called a resume, right? We all have to write a resume. Do you know what a resume is? What's a resume? So a resume is the description of who you are, brief description of who you are, what your intentions are, what your objective is, like what you're looking for, and then it describes your qualifications, your skills, your work experience, your education, anything that makes you stand out above the rest, and of course with general information such as phone number, address, and email. Okay, and when you before you go on a job interview, you have to present this resume. So for assignment number one, I'm going to send this to you shortly. I'm going to write up like a sample resume, and it's your job to fill out a resume, and then you're going to give that to me. Okay, and it's going to be a pretend. Just pick somewhere that you would like to work, and you're going to get the sample of the resume that I'm going to show you, and then you're going to fill that out. Let's see here. In the resume, I'm going to ask you these questions too. In the resume, you're going to need to contact the manager, right? Either a phone call or send an email. So those are the kind of things that you need to do. You are going to request for a job interview. So you're going to request a job interview. Or you're simply just going to let them know your interest in a position, and you're going to send them a resume, okay? If they call you for the job interview, there are certain things that also need to happen, is that you need to dress in a professional manner. You're not going to dress like you go to school. You're not going to dress like you go to the beach or the pool. You're going to dress in your best, nice professional manner, right? Like, I guess sometimes they say your Sunday best, okay? Another thing that needs to happen when you go on a job interview or in this process of applying for a job is that you need to be on time for the interview. You can't show up late. That does not look good. When you show up late for an interview, it shows that you already have poor time management skills. So we're gonna talk a little bit about executive functions as well. When you meet the person, you typically shake the person's hands. However, during these times of social distancing, physical contact is shied upon. So in today's time, going on a job interview, you would just greet with your words and a head, and then not nodding your head, but you wouldn't necessarily shake your hands because right now, contact or physical contact is not accepted, or is it safe? All right, let's see here. When the interview is over, you are to thank the person giving you the interview for the whole interview process. Whether it's the manager, you thank them. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to apply for this job. I look forward to hearing from you. So that is a statement, or that you would end the interview with. Okay, so those are certain steps we need to follow. Let's see here. What else? It's also a good thing to practice, and that's something that you and I will do in the fall when school starts again, is we will get in groups of two and have like a mock interview process, and one student will be the employer, one would be the employee or the future employee, and they would go through this job interview process. All right, so some things to think about during a job interview is question number one: tell me 3 positive things about yourself. So I don't want you just to go, um, well, uh, you need to know 3 positive things about you. Are you friendly? Are you optimistic? Are you athletic? Are you responsible? Are you eager? Do you have a positive attitude in life? Whatever, are you outgoing? Whatever it is that describes you that you think are positive things, start thinking about them. Don't go into an interview going, really think about those things. Also, an employer may ask you, tell me one of your weaknesses. Now, that's a difficult one. I've asked this question to many of my students. Tell me one weakness. And they just look at me. I don't have a weakness. We all have weaknesses. But you have to think about a weakness that you would like to share with your employer. Okay? Sometimes the weakness this may be your first job. And you can say, my weakness is I don't have any prior work experience, but I am enthusiastic, I am eager, and I am willing to show you my best. So your weakness is you have no work experience, right? But then you turn into a positive and say, but you're eager, enthusiastic, and you want to prove yourself that you can do this job and give excellence, right? So those are the kind of things that, or somebody else's weakness may be, they can be shy, but they look forward to this job so that they can be more social and interact more with others, right? That could be another weakness. So anyhow, just think about that. And, you think about, we all have strengths and weaknesses, and think about that one weakness that we all have that maybe you want to work for. Your weakness may be that you're not very good saving money, and you want to take the opportunity to get this job so that you can learn how to save money for a car, for college. Those are weaknesses as well. Okay. An employer may ask you this: if a customer yells at you and is rude, what would you say and or do? Okay, so start thinking about that. What would you say, and what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, right? So those are the kind of things that you need to think about. If somebody's rude, you can say, excuse me, sir, ma'am, I'm going to go speak to the manager because this conversation is not appropriate. See, and then you go speak to the manager and you explain the situation. So you never address somebody that is rude or is yelling at you. You simply say this is not appropriate and you walk away and go get a manager or the owner of the business. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that you need to start thinking about because they can happen, sometimes they will. Especially if you deal in customer service of any kind or fast food restaurants. Definitely, you will run across somebody that is not as polite as you would expect. Let's see here. Another question, what are your times of availability? So when you go for a job interview, you have to already know, well, I can only work weekends, or I can work every other Sunday, or I can work every day but Saturday, or I can work every day until, I mean, you have to have what your availability is, because that's what they're looking for. They may be looking for somebody that's available always, but that may not be your reality. So you specifically have to be able to express what your availability, and are you willing to change that? Something to think about. Let's see here. The employer may ask you, why do you want to work, say, Chick-fil-A? So if you are applying for a job at Chick-fil-A, you better know the menu. You better give them some really good reasons why you want to work there. And one may be you love eating at Chick-fil-A and you want to work somewhere where you really enjoy the food. I mean, that may be the reason, right? Tell two positive things about the company. So really research the company that you want to work for. And then last, the employer may say, tell me about yourself. So you need to tell them your hobbies, your aspirations in life, and things that describe who you are. So definitely your interests, your hobbies, whether it's any sports, any clubs, any activities, something that tells others about who you are. So start thinking about what would you like to share with others that after they listen to you, you will stand out above the rest, okay? So those, I gave several questions and I gave some answers on what to do during a job interview. Let's see here. And for the assignment that I'm going to send soon, I will give you like a sample of a resume, because that's going to be your next assignment. All right. And we will continue the next lesson next week. So stay tuned and check your speech language Google Classroom for lesson assignment number 7. Speak to you soon.